Alex, second big week for you. Look at you getting back on the road to respectability, eh?
I'm getting back on the road to respectability. This was a 4-1 week for me last weekend. That brings me to 25, 29, and 1 on the season. Obviously not where we want to be, but what it means is that with another week like that, we are within striking distance of the profit zone for the season. Within striking distance of striking distance, and that's where we need to be to get into striking distance.
Dude, I had the best and worst beat of the season within 3 hours of each other. I had the Browns minus 3.5. Nick Chubb steps out of bounds, unimpeded to the end zone down the sideline. Dear God! But then Kyler Murray's Hail Mary gave me the money line win against the Bills last week. So
that
it giveth and it taketh away.
That Chubb thing, I just want to say this before we do our picks for this week, is sickening that he would put the Browns' probability of victory over
my needs. Yes, exactly.
It's about like me. At all. I don't like that at all.
I'm 29 to 29 on the season. I'm also within striking distance of the profit zone quite clearly. One team who is not in striking zone of any success this season faces your Pittsburgh Steelers. They are my Jacksonville Jaguars. Steelers are only a 10-point favorite in this game, and you're riding with them?
I am in the Richard versus Alex Bowl, Jaguars and Steelers. The Jaguars stopped the run pretty well. Solid rush defense. The thing is that the Steelers don't care about running the ball, and they did this with the Bengals last week. The Bengals stopped the run very well, but it doesn't matter because the Steelers can just replace the conventional running game with a lot of short passes to the perimeter. They are throwing it on 70% of their downs the last 3 weeks, barely doing anything on the ground and still having strong offensive success. I don't think that the Jaguars in this post-Jalen Ramsey, post-AJ Bouye world can do a whole lot about Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, Eric Ebron, even this kind of weirdly slowed down but still good Ben Roethlisberger. I just think they are badly overmatched. I do not buy the trap game thing, and I think the Steelers will cover 10 points.
Yeah, they suck. Go Jaguars. Packers and Colts. Packers money line at 102 in another AFC South matchup. The Packers go back-to-back AFC South games. They beat Jags on last Sunday. I don't really trust the Colts offense. I do dearly trust the Colts defense, which is true. But in a game such as this, I'm going to take the Packers on offense. I think the Packers sleptwalk against the Jags last week. Didn't really look like they were clicking on Sunday. It was at home, but the weather was kind of nasty. It was cold for the first time. This is in a dome, and I'll take that dome aspect to sort of put me over the top here because if this gets into a shootout, I love the Packers.
I can't argue with taking the better team on the money line in pretty much any circumstance where it's this.
And we're getting positive. We're getting positive juice. We're getting plus 102.
Exactly. Plus 102. You're getting good juice for the better team despite playing on the road. I think that's good process by you. Jets and Chargers under 47 for me. The Jets cannot run. They cannot throw. The Chargers are going to have to do a lot of work on offense to get us to the over in this game. Obviously, the Jets defense is no great shakes either, and the ball can be moved on them. But the Jets are a slow-paced team. When they are behind, they do not turn into overdrive and really pick up the pace a great deal to try to score a lot of garbage time points when they are losing, which they are at some point or by the end of every single game they play. So I think that they get this to the house with a win for the under in a low-scoring Chargers victory.
I do think the Jets sort of coming off a bye week, new play caller, showed a pulse against the Bills, showed a pulse against the Patriots. Eventually, they have got to run into a victory this season. I don't know if they're going to go 0-16. Yes, I am speaking it into existence. So the Jaguars potentially get the number one pick, but that is neither here nor there, Alex. Elsewhere in Florida, Rams at Bucks, Rams +4. I have at -109. Excuse me. The Rams are one of the best teams in the NFL, and we sort of are forgetting about them because I think a combination of the Cardinals' sort of upsurge in that division and currently leading that division. And the Bucks, I think everybody's fascinated with the Bucks and the Saints in the NFC. Nobody cares about the NFC East. But I think we are forgetting what the Los Angeles Rams are and the talent that they have on defense. And I know the Bucks came out and smacked the Panthers last week and put the bad taste of the Saints loss sort of out of their mouth. But I don't think the Bucks really have many good wins against good teams this season, right? Played the Saints twice, lost the Saints twice. I against good teams or against sort of their tier of teams in the NFL, they have not been able to win a game yet. So yeah, give me the 4. It's a good number, I think, primarily because of, you know, our key number thing and field goals and how the game is scored. So I'm going to take the Rams +4 in this game.
Sure, fair enough.
And offensive line shakeup for the Bucks too. Aaron Donald coming to town. I don't know.
Sure. Understandable pick on your part. We are on opposite sides of a game this week, though there is, I guess, room for one of us. For the lines moved a little bit, so there's room for one of us to win and the other to not lose. We're talking about the Chiefs and Raiders playing in Vegas this weekend. I have the Raiders +8. I have grabbed that just before we have started recording this. The Chiefs have basically become an all-pass, no-run offense, and that's fine. I think that is perfectly defensible when your quarterback is the most talented quarterback in the history of quarterbacks, and I get that. It's a good use of Patrick Mahomes, but they are not a potent offense on the ground right now. They do not move the ball well when they are not throwing it, which means it's all on Mahomes, and the Raiders have a pretty good defense against the pass, particularly lately. They are easier to run on than they are to throw on. I don't think that augurs very well. And the Chiefs have a couple of guys, both of their starting offensive tackles, Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, in some doubt for this game, or at least not practicing much this week because they have been on either the injured or I believe the COVID reserve list this week. The Raiders have their own issues and a lot of guys on their defense who apparently may not play in this game, depending on how their tests come back. But the thing about the Raiders is that pushed the line up to +8, which is why I feel good about this. I don't think they will win outright again, but I have them at +8. You, on the other hand, are on the Chiefs, but at a different number.
Yeah, so you wanted to sort of, I think what you did is you sort of wanted to grab the Raiders at +8, which is what they won the last game by. The October game, you sort of got them at 8, so you got everything up to 8. I wanted to grab them at 7 so that I could get everything over a touchdown because I think the Chiefs are going to blow the Raiders out. Okay. Chiefs coming off a bye week. Chiefs are not pleased with the Raiders because of some antics after the game by the Raiders. The Raiders' whole defense, like you said, is in danger of not playing, even though obviously both Chiefs tackles are in danger of not playing. I think they are going to come out looking like a slightly different football team and that they will figure stuff out during the bye week, particularly in the run game. Le'Veon Bell right now is not the running threat that I think maybe they thought that they were getting. I think he's lost a step. I think you may see a much heavier dose of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and sort of less of a carry share. I'm also trying to speak that into existence for my fantasy team. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this game going away. I think that a lot of what had to do with the Raiders winning last time were some costly turnovers that the Chiefs had. So I am not a really big believer right now in the Raiders. The 4 turnovers against the Broncos last week were sexy, but Drew Lock was giving them gifts all over the place.
Sure. I think you would agree that the selfless thing to want in this game for the benefit of both of us is a 7-point Chiefs win where you push and I cover, and we come out of this 1-0-1 in this game. And I appreciate your understanding that ahead of time. NFC South, Falcons versus Saints. Always a game filled with anxieties on both sides. Over 51 over here in my corner. Both of these teams are very strong against the run. I do not think that this is going to be a game decided by the run. Not a lot of games are in the NFL in 2020. I think that Jameis Winston might be legitimately good. And if he's not good, here's the thing. He's pointsy either way, right? Because he's either throwing dimes.
They're going the other way, baby.
Right. Exactly. He's either throwing touchdowns and looking like the world beater that he looked like at Florida State, or he is throwing picks that are going the other way, and that is also just fine for the over if he throws them in the right spot on the field. Falcons are a very, very fast-paced offense. I think that they're going to be playing from behind, which encourages speed. And I just really like the over. I think that there are going to be a lot of points in this game.
A game that there will not be many points in is Patriots and Texans, and that is a game that I think will be decided by the run. I have the Patriots -1. Guys, the Patriots are getting better, and nobody wants to acknowledge it because it's not sexy, and they have been chugging in the beginning of the season, and the Jets win was dirty. I understand it. But in 6 days, the Patriots have drastically improved their playoff sort of chances and their outlook. They are winning in the competent way that Patriots teams win. They are getting better as the season goes on. The Texans are not a good football team. I've watched both of the Texans wins this season. Holy crap, Deshaun Watson is playing his tail off because he has to, because they don't have anything else. So I'm taking the Patriots here. I'm taking the Patriots -1.
Yeah, I just feel really bad for Deshaun Watson. I think he deserves. I mean, he's getting paid very well for his trouble, and so bless up on that. But he deserves a better football.
We got to get him
situation.
out of there, man.
They do. My last of the week, Cowboys and Vikings. I am over 48 on this. I had success with totals last week, so we're betting a lot of totals again this week. Rationale here, Vikings run the ball a ton. They are running it more than anyone else in the league by far over the last month. That's not really good for an over, but I think strategically it probably has to change this week because the Cowboys' run defense is very strong, but their pass defense is not. A couple corners, Chidobe Awuzie and Trayvon Diggs have been banged up for them. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson on the other side have really come on so strong that you would think the Vikings would be like, we've got to give these guys the ball vertically a lot. And I think that they should just be throwing a bit more this week than they have been recently. And on top of that, there's a pace argument with Dallas. Dallas moves quickly. I think Andy Dalton is back, which is an upgrade over what they have been trotting out at quarterback the last couple weeks. I think there should be some scoring here, and it's not a particularly high number, and it's in an indoor environment. So let's take the over 48.
Okay, I dig that. Final game of the week is the Thursday night game. I am taking the Cardinals and Seahawks. Cardinals money line +140. It's a good number. I think it's come down since I got it. The Cardinals have played 3 of literally the games of the year back to back to back to back to back. And the Seahawks, the first time in overtime was that first game. I think the Cardinals can win this game. The Seahawks have basically like all their defensive backs out. Or their best ones, I should say. I love the way what the Cardinals do in the low red zone, where they basically add a dimension to that rushing offense with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is doing a ton right now, and Russ has regressed. And that Russ regression started against this Cardinals defense. So I'm going to take the Cardinals on the money line here tonight.
Interesting. You see, my rationale of this is that the Seahawks have to be extremely pissed after what happened to them in that game last time. And like DK Metcalf, that was the game when he chased down Budda Baker with like one of the plays of the century, and it led to a stop, and then they lost anyway. I feel like he might have like 300 yards receiving in this game, but I understand your process. I'm kind of just going anecdotal here. I'm staying away from it, but I like what you're doing. I hope it works out for you.
All right, Alex, let's have a good week. Let's get on the road to profitability now in the home stretch of the season. This is when we make our hay. This is when records are broken. This is when 53% is the goal.
It is. I think we're both on the upward charge, and we're going to hopefully be there much sooner than later.
Yes, sir. Let's get this bread.